Hello. Hi, everyone. Hope I'm coming through okay. This is the awkward bit where we wait for the delay to see if everything's working and you can see me in that. Welcome to the stream. We'll be playing Skara Brae in a minute, as long as I'm coming through okay. Hey, James. Hey, Lance. If that's already been solved. Yes, if you're wondering, this is on Kickstarter right now. So all that stuff. The link is in the description to the campaign, which is live now. It is on Kickstarter with The Anarchy, which is a follow-up to Hadrian's Wall. I did a playthrough last week for The Anarchy, so you can see how that plays already. And we're going to be looking at Skara Brae today. I'm going to be doing the solo mode of this as well. The kind of core round stuff is the same. The way we get cards is a little bit different, but I'll talk about that as we get playing. Hey, Shan, thanks for joining us. Shan Phillips is the designer of Skara Brae. If you have any questions about this or the campaign in general, or anything you fancy, really. Hey, Mikhail. Hey, Sean. Hey, Joel. AV Good. Brilliant. Hi, everybody. Shall we set the scene? Let's set a scene. We did it for the Anarchy. We probably did it for Hadrian's Wall, but we'll do it for Skara Brae as well. Around 5,000 years ago, a resilient group of farmers and hunters built a thriving community on the Orkney Islands of northern Scotland. Rather than discarding their empty shells, broken tools, bones, and other waste, they used them to form large mounds of earth over hundreds of years. Later generations dug into these midden piles to create a series of rooms and tunnels to shelter from the harsh winds and cold winter months. And we are going to be gathering various resources. One thing you don't see with this lovely zoomed in camera angle, you can kind of see it in the contents list here. There are many different kinds of resource meeple in this game. We'll be seeing them appear in our little storage area soon enough, but yeah, there's a load about. We'll be gathering various resources to clothe, feed, shelter the growing number of settlers. We will draft village cards to furnish, well, you can see the actions as well: furnish, cook, craft, clean, trade. At the end of each round, we need to provide food for our settlers, and we will likely create more midden that will need to be cleaned up. At the end of 4 rounds, the player with the most points wins. Because in the solo game, we aren't trying to beat anybody, but we are trying to gain a good score despite some setbacks. So because there's a drafting system in the multiplayer game, I'll try to find the bit where it tells. Here we go. So we can consider this a win if we get 45 points. 55 or higher, we've done exceedingly well. So see if we manage that. But a thing for solo. So in the multiplayer game, there's a turn order track. You'll draft hands and you'll decide whether to pass or not and get the choice of the next hand. In the solo game, there is none of that. We will draw. There's 3 turns in each round. We will draw 4 cards in turn 1, 3 cards in turn 2, 2 cards in turn 3 to simulate, a draft and cards being taken away. But there's no turn order stuff to think about because it's just you. The thing that is introduced in the solo game are these focus and task cards. So our focus card is a goal that we don't have to achieve, but it might be in our interest to achieve it. So this particular one is I think it's 6 settlers in a row. You'll see how we get settlers and stuff in a minute. We want to have 6 underneath one of these gather sections, which they will come on the cards that we draft every turn. And if we want them to stick around once we've drafted them, we need to feed them. So we don't have to do this, but if we don't do it, we lose 5 points at the end. And you've seen, like, the winning score is 45. An extremely good score is 55. So like 5 points could be huge for you. We also have 4 task cards. These are special things that we could do during the game. They're basically free actions in the sense that they don't cost our worker or something to activate. Not free in terms of resources. We've got to pay certain resources to take a certain action, and the actions all line up with the icons that are on our action tiles. So we can get some bonus things done. Again, we don't have to do these, but if we don't do them, we lose 2 points for every one we haven't done by the end of the game. We start the round with 1 worker, a big worker. Each round you will gain a new worker until we've got 4 of them. We're going to be drafting cards we will place our settlers and take actions on these tiles, and there will be some end of round stuff where you have to feed your people. You might have special abilities to activate. If you've stored too many resources, let's say that now actually. We start the game with 2 of these scale knives. They aren't taking up much space in our inventories. As we get more resources, so as soon as we run out of space, we've got 3 available spaces, this slider will move to accommodate any resources, so you're never like blocked from taking stuff. If you're completely full, the stuff has to kind of sit off to the side until you've got space for it. But yeah, this slider will accommodate you just fine. When you need to make it bigger, it can be tougher to make it smaller. And at the end of the round, midden's going to be created. So the more resources we have stored during the round, even if we've got rid of them all now, this doesn't come back automatically. You can take actions to clean up and stuff. But yeah, you will be gaining this midden that generally, again, you'll have to use special actions to get rid of it. It can't be spent like most of the other resources can. And if your slider ends the game in these red positions, you will lose an increasing number of points as well. So you need to manage your inventory, and there are a load of different ways that we can score some points, but there's a last little bit of setup that we need to do. These are all of your standard action tiles. Everybody always has these every game, but you get to choose from a variety of special action tiles. And this will go in this spot. It'll be a thing that we can send workers to. And they all have the same cost. So there'll be different spaces that we can go to. We basically need to spend food or bones, 2 of them in some combination, and we'll get to do some different things. I'll explain more as we go through it. But I can basically, with tend land, I could activate these gather spots, up to 3 of them, or clear some midden away. Usually you activate these by sending a person there, so that's like having 3 people, albeit for very specific things. I can hunt boar, so we will be able to hunt various animals during the game, but only the person who gets this tile, which might be nobody in a game, gets to hunt boar. You get access to the special boar meeples. So for 2 food or 2 bones, we could hunt boar, and also we get the kind of the exchange rate, how much of our hearth value is going to be needed to cook the boars and what we will get for cooking them. Or we can recruit. So this gives us access to extra workers. So usually I've got 1 solitary worker. If I come to recruit, I can get an extra worker every time up to a maximum of 3. But at the end of every round, they go away. There is also a flip side to all of these actions that we'll get into as we go. But yeah, they do more powerful effects if you can pay the resources to upgrade them all. So what do I like? I need to accumulate a load of settlers. I like the idea of gathering a lot. I like the idea of getting the workers, not so much about losing all of the workers. I'm kind of leaning toward tend land. I tend to end up doing a load of gather actions. Usually I've had discounts for things like going up these tracks and stuff. I think I'm just going to go for tend land, especially since I've made a decision. So we'll put those out of the game, and we can look at them at the end when everything makes more sense, but there are a load of different ones that can be in the game as well. So we have done our choice there. Am I missing anything? Oh yeah, there's a link to my Patreon. Oh, it's all here if you'd like to support the channel. There's Patreon and stuff if you'd like to do that. Hey, Michael. You back both. Oh, brilliant. I hope you enjoy them. Well, maybe thematically we're the children cleaning the middens up. Hey, Lynette, how's it going? Beeples, exactly. Although maybe a game's got beeples as well. You can add more task cards to increase the difficulty of the solo mode, but it's more about trying to win with all the different setups. Yes, so we've got a setup. Is there an action to get permanent workers? No, you don't need an action for that. At the start of every round, you will get 1 more worker. So there's 4 rounds in the game. At the end of at the start of the 4th round, we will have 4 workers to be able to do these. And it doesn't matter right now that we've just got our large worker, but every action space can have a small and a large worker. So one of your action tiles you can activate twice. But there is so looking at the recruit action, this gives us a load of other small workers. If I'd taken this and upgraded it later, this lets you put an extra small worker on each action space, so you could activate one place 3 times or several places twice, should you so desire, but we didn't take it. We're tending land. Okay, so on your turns, you're going to select and resolve a card. So I said in the solo game, in the first turn we draw 4 cards, and we have got a bit of a variety, not every single type, but a lot of them. So we can draft stone balls, which have apparently been found all over Skara, Brae. If I draft stone balls, I will get 2 points at the end of the game, and I get myself a knife for every stone balls card I have. So if I get them, I'd want to get loads of them because these can be very useful for other stuff. I could get a roof card. The roof cards are also worth 2 points during the game, and every time we need to feed our settlers at the end of every round, you need to feed them 1 less for every roof card that you've got. So that can be very important as well. Or we can draft the settlers themselves. There are ways of, there's an action that you can take to get some more roof cards. These come from a common deck and are only worth 1 point. So special if you take them from the draft. There's also utilities that we'll get to when we see one of them cards, but settlers are my other choice. So your settlers will go underneath a particular column of your gather actions. So the blue worker here would go by the sea. And say I drafted this settler. You activate the top part first. So for every card that you've got, every symbol that you can see, you can take this choice. You can have a shell or a seaweed in this case. So as you accumulate cards in a column, you will get a lot more of the thing, which is great, but also watch out for the space that you're taking up here. Then you may activate the bottom part. So you have to take these resources. That's another thing of like, you can't choose to discard stuff. You've got to use it. So yeah, you can activate the bottom, which in this case is have a fish. So we could go for that, or we could go for gathering barley. And the optional thing on here is turn a barley into 2 wool. So we can end up with a couple of wool there. I'm kind of leaning towards a settler. And depending on what comes up, we want to get one of these gather columns having 6 settlers in it. So we're going to end up with a lot of something. Now, ideally, like barley is great for, it can be cooked for food. It can be used in the clean action and some other stuff as well. If we want to do upgrading and stuff, I mean, seaweed can be used for the clean action. And there's a few tiles that want shells or seaweed as the upgrade cost. So maybe you'd want to get into that early. Having a fish is some food. But I think what I'm going to do, I am going to draft this barley settler. So these 3 cards are out of the game, gone. I take the settler, and so you must resolve top harvest. I have 1 symbol, so I can take 1 thing. There's no choice here. It's barley. So that comes into my resource area, and I don't have to extend it. But what I've got of the option here, I can use a scale knife or multiple scale knives to add temporarily to the number of symbols that I've got if I want more barley. So I'm going to be turning 1 into 2 wool, I think. So would I like to spend a knife so I've got another one to be used perhaps as food, perhaps as cleaning or something later on? I think I will. Let's go for it. So I'll get myself another barley by spending that knife now. And then may resolve the bottom part, I shall. But that does mean that I am at my resource limit here. So I'm going to have to move the slider along. And now at the end of the round, unless I do something about this, I'm going to produce a midden at the end of the round, which is a resource that just gets in the way and needs cleaning out. Although my tend land action can get rid of some midden as well. So I have selected and resolved my card. That's all my placed worker stuff. Then that's all placing settler stuff. Then I place my worker. So I've got 1 single worker in round 1, and there's 3 turns in each round. So I place this somewhere, take the action of the place, and take it back. So just briefly, what do they all do? Furnish, you need to spend combinations of 2 wool or 1 leather, or 1 hide. The number of combinations you need is based on the next space you need to move up the furnish track. And so for the first action, I would just need to spend 2 wool or 1 hide pop this along because it had a ×1 on it, and it changes my scoring for the end of the game. Every settler card is worth a point, but could be worth 2 points, and every set of 4 different settler cards is worth more and more as we go up as well. Now, if I want 6 in one row, I don't know how good I'm going to be at getting different sets, but if I'm going to be getting a lot of them, it'd still be cool to make them worth 2 points each. Cook, this is an action where we can turn anything that's cookable, anything that's in this section, because we didn't take the wild boar tile, anything that's in this section can be cooked. You have got a half value of 4, so up to a value of 4. Some combination of things that you have here can be cooked up to 4, but there are ways of increasing that later, and they will turn into food and bones and hide and thing, because remember, we've got to feed our people at the end of every round as well. Craft is how we flip these tiles over. Every tile's got a cost at the bottom of it. So you take the craft action, pay the cost, flip the tile over. Every flip tile is worth 2 points. Every flip tile is better than it previously was. Clean is how you get rid of midden. You've got to spend these resources. Just like 2 different ones will let you get rid of 1 midden and get a roof card. 3 different things will let you get rid of 3 midden and get you a roof card. But when you get rid of midden, you can instead move your slider to the left, because it doesn't do that automatically. So as long as you've got space in your inventory for it to do that, and you're removing midden, instead of removing midden, you can just pop it back over, so you won't gain as much midden, or maybe negative points, as you otherwise would. Trade, you've got to spend a number of the same resource equal to what the next space on this trade track says. So 2 of something, basically anything but midden, I think, can be spent for this. 2 identical things. It'll give you a number of points at the end of the game, up to 20. And when you move up, if you can spend a knife, you will get the resource that's at the bottom of where you just moved. The gather actions get you things. So a scale knife and either a shell or a seaweed, a stone or a wool, a wood, a barley, and then tend land we've talked about. That's my special thing. I spend 2 food or bones in some combination, and then I could either, so I can do 3 things. I can do different gather actions, or I can get rid of a midden. So might not need to clean as much if I can get this tend land action used. Okay, as it is, I have got wool. So I'm thinking I could either build towards upgrading something. I'll need stone or bones if I want to upgrade something that needs wool. Like if I'm going to activate these gather actions as well, it could be good to get those upgraded with the craft action, because not only do they get you more things or give you more options, so the upgraded, so this would just get me a wood if I put a worker on it. If it's upgraded, it gets me 2 wood, and I could turn a wood into a deer. Instead, I can do either of those things. And when I come to activate this, if I get a settler for the wood column, I automatically have an icon in here, so I will get 1 more than I normally would whenever I gather. And it's the same for all of these. There's more resources, more options, and they all come with an icon of their specific thing. So it could be good to upgrade them. I might want to trade away the wool, yeah? Because I've got a knife, so I could trade away the wool, upgrade to the next thing, and I could spend my knife to get myself a cow, which I could then cook later on. Like cow, I could do a cooking action and get quite a lot of stuff, and then maybe get some stuff activated. Maybe I should do that, actually. I was thinking save and craft something, like maybe get a stone. But I quite like it. Would use all of my knives, but let's do a trade. I'm going to listen. Let's trade away that wool then. So I have to do 2 of it, because that's the next bit on my trade. I've got a point now. I'm on the board. And I could, if I'd got 3 wool, I could do one of my actions as well, which is basically, it's do the thing as if you'd placed a worker there. So you can see from the symbols what I would be activating and how I could do it. So I've moved along, and I will spend the knife to get myself a cow. And then last thing you do in a turn, retrieve workers. There we go. That is one of the turns of the game. Second turn, we need 3 cards from the deck. And we've got stone balls on offer again. And the other 2 kinds of settler. So I don't think I'm going to go stone balls. Or what are the extras that we could have? So we can get, this would be 1 wood and gather barley based on the number of yellow icons that you've got. So it would be a wood and a barley, or I could get myself a stone or a wool and a rabbit. I'm leaning towards rabbit. And a stone is probably going to be good at upgrading something. Well, yeah. And then maybe we cook the cow. And we've got bones to activate tend land later. And we've got maybe food for our people. I really want to get something upgraded though. So the thing I really like, not that you have to lean into one thing, but the upgraded craft action doesn't actually change the action itself. It gives you a free cook action at the end of a round. So you don't actually have to go and do it yourself. I think I like that more. So do we want... We'll definitely get a rabbit either way. I've got no knives to increase this, because I would like one of each thing. Do I want a stone or a wool? So stone's going to be useful no matter what you upgrade up here. If you're going to... Like, we'll probably do cook now, won't we? And then we'll do tend land next time. So we're probably not going to be upgrading anything yet. Right, get a stone for the future. We're probably going to be getting some midden here, but we can hopefully reverse it later. Stone from the gather, and then we'll get a rabbit as extra. Okay, so that's me getting a card and placing settlers. But now I've got a 2 food cost for the end of the round that I need to think about. So my worker, we were going to go for cook, weren't we? Cook the cow, because the cow is a value of 4 by itself. My hearth value is only 4 at the moment. There are ways to increase it with... I can't actually show you a utility card because they're mixed into the deck. We'll see one, I think. So yeah, my hearth value is 4. I'm going to cook the cow, and that's going to give me 2 food. 1, 2. 1 hide, which pile I've put things in. And we're going to have to slide along again, because we get 2 bones. So that means we're getting 2 midden at the end of the round. Which again, if you haven't got space for it, it's got to slide along, and in future rounds, you're going to be gumming everything up with midden, which is not ideal. So I've cooked over here. And then for the 3rd and final turn of the round, we get a choice of 2 cards. So I can either have shell stroke seaweed and a fish, or at the risk of increasing the inventory loads, I mean, we need 6 in a column, don't we? We'd get 2 things. And another rabbit. What are rabbits? They're 2. Ooh. This feels a bit risky. Getting a lot of resources early. But there's ways to undo it, isn't there? I'm going to go for a bit of a different way around. I think I'll tend land next round. So if I'm going to go for wool. And I'll go for a stone, because you can choose. If you're getting the 2 things, you can have one of each if you want. And then I get a rabbit as extra. And then for my action, I am going to craft. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, this is what I want to upgrade. So I am going to pay a stone and a wool to upgrade that craft action. So I could have gone to cook, because I need 3 food now. But by upgrading the craft action, that's 2 points, and I will get an automatic cook action, so I can cook these rabbits, have enough food for my people. Downside of that is, look how many resources I've got. I'm getting 3 midden. But we've got time to undo that, I think. I have got 2 rabbits that I could have just spent the 2 rabbits to do the craft action, and then put him on something else. Ooh, that's a thought. I could activate all 3 of these things, but that wouldn't let me feed Oh, I could activate 3 of the 4 gather actions, but they would get me at most 2 food. And it wouldn't be cooked. Think about them later. Right, we've crafted for now. So then, end of round. First of all, do end of round effects. I've got one. So I'm going to cook. These are 2 hearth value each, so I can cook both the rabbits. And they give you a food each and a hide. And hides would be good for cleaning as well, and they're an upgrade cost for your trade and tend land. Then we got to feed people. I've got no roofs, so 3 settlers need 3 food. For everyone you can't or don't want to pay for, you lose the card. You lose the settler. Remember, they're worth just a point each, as they are. Okay, no tasks yet. A third of the way to the focus if we're going to go for green, but that kind of depends on the draft a little bit, doesn't it? Right. Sorry I'm missing things. I don't want to ignore you entirely. I don't want to forget what I'm doing. I should have 1 more hide. Did I only pick 1 up? Thank you. And you can rearrange this stuff as you like. You just can't move that slider back. Okay, so we fed the people, then gain midden. Based on where my slider is now, I've got to gain 3 midden. Look at I've got 3 different areas of resource pile. I can't remember which I've put where. I know that's animals up there. This is food stroke midden, stroke bones. And this is other resources. They're the categories I've made. Well, you should be back. So we've gained the midden. At the end of the game, you've seen the way we get points from these tracks and things, but also every midden is -1 point, and every food stroke knife you've got at the end of the game is worth a point. So we are into round 2. We get our second worker. So now we can be activating 2 different things, or the same thing, because every action space could have a large and a small worker on it. And we need to draft cards again. So it's turn 1, we get 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the choices are, we could keep going for green. And this is turn, we would get 3 choices. Turn 2 stone into a sheep. You're thinking ahead for food needs. And that's 3 out of the 6 for the column. Or go for get a wood and then turn that wood into 2 seaweed. Get a wood and a rabbit. I mean, I do like building up a big column, but then it's always bad later when you think, oh, actually, I do need one of these things. And when I put a person down here in round 4 and I'm only getting 1 thing, that's because you didn't place anyone earlier. I'm going to go for it. This is going to move me slider again, though. We need to do some cleaning up in a moment. Right. Get more things. Get more things? Get more things. So first of all, I have to get at least 1 stone, so I'm able to do this bottom action. And then I think... Do you want 2 wool? Do you need wool particularly? Well, we could be furnishing with all of the wool. We've got hides to do that as well. Maybe for the gather action. I think I want 1. So there's 2 things, and the third thing will take another stone. And then I'm going to... So you've got to get the stuff, so it's increased my my storage space again, which is a bad thing in terms of minimum points. And then I'll spend the 2 stone to get the sheep. So that's kind of 1 of everything. Oh, that gets me a wool as well. We'll have use for it. Right. So that's the card, that's the settler. I've only taken settlers so far. Well, that time I only had the choice of settlers. I've gone for green again. So, if you had a load of stones, you could do a clean action with that. Workers. We can tend land, can't we? I'd kind of like to upgrade as well, though. Because I could tend land with a food and a bones. If I craft, I've got the... in saving that bone, I've got the stuff where I could upgrade the tend land action, or I could upgrade one of the gather actions that I would be activating with the tend land action. I say one of them. It would be the wood one. So I'd get an extra wood. And then for upgrading later, we could upgrade the gather. Because I like the gather here because it gets you a knife as well. And the knives can be useful for when you're trading, when you're placing new settlers and things. Yeah, I quite like the sound of that. So let's craft. And ideally, like, you'll save your large worker to them because that's the one that can go on to extra places. Because you might change your mind as things go on. Let's upgrade. We could upgrade the tend land action as well, though. And then you can do 4 things. So you could do every gather action. Or, like, you can get rid of midden as well. Can you do, like, they have to be different gather actions. Could you just do 4 midden if you wanted? Just because they say different things. Yeah. Yeah. It's just they've got to be different gather actions. If you want to do all midden, you can clear 4 midden if you want. So let's upgrade that. Yeah. Upgrade that. This can get you a load of resources again. And then we'll tend the land. But you could just clear the midden. So you've got to pay... Oh, you haven't paid for that upgrade. That was a bones and a hide. Then to come here, I'm paying a food and a bones. And I can activate all of these things. So we'll definitely activate this. This is going to be a lovely knife. And do you want seaweed or shell? I think I would like shell. Because maybe something to upgrade is going to be the clean action. Which makes it more efficient in how many midden it clears away. So that's one thing. Then we'll get some barley, because that can be food as well. Like, we've got 4 hearth of food, actually, to cook, although it wouldn't produce 4 food. I'll clear away a midden. I'll clear away a midden. Yeah. Okay. So that's where we'll leave that. So that's just turn 1. Then, 1, 2, 3. I think I am thinking of the flipped furnish. The flipped furnish gives you a barley or a knife. Okay, well, I still want to do it. Right. So, yeah, I did my 4 things. Okay, so we could get some barley. And we've got some in stock, actually. So we could get 2 barley and then turn 3 into a cow. That's possible. Or, hey, here's the card type I haven't shown you yet. Utilities. Yeah, utilities. So you got the name wrong then. So it increases your hearth value. So I could cook 5 worth of stuff. And decreases the amount of midden you will get. And gives you a hide and 2 points. I really like the sound of the barley card, but all of those things in one go. In the position I'm in, it would be nice taking less midden in, wouldn't it? Or I could get myself a wood and turn that into 2 stone. I'm not as fussed about that. I don't think that's going to be the option. I'm leaning a bit more towards utilities, I think. Although having a cow, I would probably cook and then have a load of stuff to... Like, thinking about feeding, it would be really useful to have a cow. Oh, you're not stuck this early, are you? I am going to go for... They're both great options. I'm going to go for the utilities card. Whichever one I pick. I've gutted that I haven't had the other one. Right, it might come out again, though. We might get an option, because hopefully we'll get the choice of an animal next time, so we'll be able to get some more food. So that gives me a hide right now, but it will help in terms of hearth, in terms of midden as well. So I think we can upgrade, because the shells can be food as well. So if I upgraded the clean action, means that two different things that could just be like the hide and the barley would get rid of 2 midden. So get rid of that and sliders along and get a roof card, which means you don't have to feed as much. Because 2 different things only clears away 1 right now. I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to craft, and I'm going to spend a stone and a shell to upgrade the clean action. And then I'm going to take the clean action. So it's going to be, because they're the only 2 different things that I've got, they've got to be different things. 2 things. And I will get rid of a midden. And slide my slider back across. Or if you kept the midden and just slid the slider under the time, now it's on 2 instead. Yeah, but if I get more than 3 resources in the draft, it's going to have to move back anyway. Leave it there. Maybe we'll get to 10 land. I don't know if we will. Depends if we get more animals, we'll probably do the quick action, maybe 10 more land. Right. They're going to be the 2 things. Hey, Monica. I don't know if I said hi to you. 3rd turn. Right. Just the 2 cards. And we have not got the choice of an animal. So it's either 2 barley and then produce with your blue seaweed. So that's not a very good option. Or we do utilities again. At least it's going to be less midden. I think we'll do utilities again. And they're 2 points each at the end of the game. It's getting me a hides now. But in terms of resources, though, that's not as many. Oh, yeah, the roof card, thank you. So, as I think I said, but they're a bit different than the ones that you can draft. They're only worth 1 point. But they still work the same, that's a permanent food provided. So I've got these 4 people now. I've only got to pay 3 food. And cooking at the moment is going to leave me a food short. But our hearth value is 6. So if I go to get, say, like barley or shells or whatever, I can cook them in the free end of round cook. And then I'm going to have resources later. That's probably going to bump the resource size up. All the stuff that I'm getting from cooking, although it's just food for the barley, and then it'll be spent. You'll spend the 3 things, and then you'll be gaining 6 things. Yeah, so it shouldn't move any further, depending on what else you do. So we could just furnish. It's only 1 hide to furnish. You could even trade. You could trade with all 3 hides. I don't then have a knife. We'll be able to tend land next time. Yes, they are called scale knives. My pronunciation of things. I think it's that. Right. So we want to gather at least something food related. And then maybe I do just want to furnish. Because trade I'd like to save until I've got a knife. So let's just get... It doesn't really matter. They all just turn into 1 food and no extras. So we'll get that, and that's the people fed. And then I'll furnish, I think. So I've got 2 different things again to clean the midden. But then you wouldn't have enough to feed the people. I don't want to lose any cards. We're only going to get 1 midden right now. Yeah, furnish. So pay 1 hide and move this along. Now each set is worth 2 points, which isn't like great. I do want to feed again, but I don't want to lose a person. I am right, aren't I? That I'm going to... I haven't left myself with the resources to do a bonus thingy. If I was willing to lose a person, I could just clean again and then I'd be in a better midden position. I did get another roof. Oh, Wait a minute, have you just worked out what Shem's saying? You would get a roof, so you wouldn't need the food. If only my brain worked quick enough. Thanks, Shem. The delay is giving me the answer. So yeah, that it would give me a roof, so I wouldn't need the food. Because furnish, I would like every card to be worth 2 points. I've only got 4 of them right now, though. And sets aren't necessarily my goal. So I think we're going to clear 2 midden again. So that's going to be 1, 2. And I get another roof card. And that will account for the missing food and for the next 2 rounds after this as well. So end of round, we will cook. So this is only 3, 4 hearth value. I don't have any more to cook. We are going to have to move it back, but I don't think it's going to matter because we still get -2 on the midden, so being at 2 doesn't really matter. So the roof card is a good thing to get. So for the sheep, we get food, hide, bones, wool. And then for the barley, we just get a food. And it's 4 people, -2 roofs. That's 2 food. And we are all square for end of round effects and feeding. Gain midden, 2, -2 for the utility cards. No new midden, thank you. You come back, and it's round 3. So I need a 3rd worker. And I need some cards, please. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I mean, it's halfway through now, and we need to think about greens when they come up if you want to get 6 in a row. Right, so none have come out. We don't have to think about that for this. We can get a permanent roof that's worth 2 points instead of just 1. Stone balls, I don't think I'm going to get into them right now. Let's see, wood. I don't have a knife, so it would just be get a wood and don't do the bottom thing. I could get a seaweed here and turn it into 2 stone. Or we get the roof to help cover food later. I mean, maybe you should have gone for gathering in the woods or something. I want some more resources so we can do stuff. Even though I know it's not going to be tons of resources. I don't necessarily want to get 2 stone. I need more bones or food, don't I? I can't tend land yet. So let's gather seaweed and turn it into 2 stones. But then what are you going to do with that? Well, we could upgrade. I'm not so fussed about the trade action. Let's do it, just to get more things. Because we could get a wood. You could have just got a wood by drafting the card, though. And then we could upgrade, say, the furnish action, and that'd let me get more knives. Getting some fish and rabbits would be nice. It would be nice to activate these things. Because I could get another stone, and then we could do a clean action without sending my worker there. And, like, as well as them being useful things, this is -13 points I'm looking at right here, unless I get this stuff used. Okay. So we could, like, get a wood, upgrade the furnish action, and then do it to use a hide. And we get a knife or a barley as well for going and doing that. You do have the stuff to upgrade the gather action. Although I do want bones and things for tend land. It would mean if I was able to do that, it would be better over here. You can do the task cards which had extra options. So this is for the solo game. In the multiplayer game, you would draft the cards between the players. But in the solo game, you are just drawing cards at the start of every turn. So I've got a focus, which is kind of my main goal. So it's have 6 settlers in 1 column. I don't have to do it, but if I don't do it, I lose 5 points. And each of these task cards I can activate whenever I like if I can pay for them. And they will activate an action as if I'd placed a worker there. Every one I don't use is -2 points at the end of the game as well. And I haven't used one yet. And yeah, we could just like go get a stone, go get a barley, and then clean again. But we're not in the position where we need to clean just yet. We probably will be. I like upgrading a gather. Like if we upgraded the let's upgrade this gather, the woodland, because I've got the resources to do that. And so in the future, if I come here or I do my tend land, that's 2 wood, or if I've got wood, I could turn a wood into a deer, and that will help with getting food and all that stuff. Let's send someone there, so we've got wood for the future, which is not in the pile that I thought I'd put it. And we could even just upgrade it again. There's only turn 1, isn't it? I haven't got a bones to upgrade the gather action. I could upgrade like the furnish or something. The cook upgrades your hearth value to 6 by default, but it's already boosted by these. Clean we've already upgraded. Trade. What does trade do when you upgrade it? It's with points, but oh, you can spend a resource instead of a knife. You can spend a resource to get the thing that's underneath instead. And we've seen all the other things. It's just like all the other gather things are more resources, more options for things when you flip them over. And if we do get a trees card now, we've got an extra symbol on there. We'll probably have to gather then. I mean, you could trade, but I haven't got the knife to... I'm going to craft... Oh, yeah. So I kind of want to upgrade the furnish action and maybe do that next time. Get me a knife or 2 in the bank. But you've got kind of settlers. Flipping trade. Oh, yeah, then we wouldn't need... Is it an item of the same type? You've got the stuff to do it, and you wouldn't have actually needed the wood. Yeah, what would you have gotten instead? The wood will be good. You could just get more with a gather action and then trade all of that. Right. Upgrade the trade action, because that's like getting us animals and stuff as well and a load of points. We'll do that. And then that's the turn. And then 3 cards. It says in the rulebook as well, which I do when I'm not. I've been doing when I've been practicing. I just lay out the cards at the start of the round. Pile of 4, pile of 3, pile of 2. Then you won't forget what turn you're on. Oh, okay. Oh, that's what we wanted. Maybe not all in one go, but you got what you wish for. So there's some green cards. You could lean towards getting the sheep. Just again for more stuff. It's not more food is the downside, but... So these only take 1 stone, so you'd have more resources left to, say, trade. If we were to take, like, the extra barley. But we want bones and things, don't we, to activate 10 land, which I haven't done this round yet. I don't know if I'm going to get to. Yeah, I'm going to go for that. So get 4 things. I think we'll go 2 stone. Maybe you want all stone. Yeah, for like the task cards. But if you're going to be cleaning... I haven't really got midden. You might get it in a minute. You're only taking 2 things. Oop. Yeah, keep going stone, and then we'll turn the 2 stone into sheep. So you would have had to gain the stone, then get rid of it for the sheep when you activate that. So we've got 4 out of the 6 for this. And yeah, could be doing a clean action, but I wouldn't have any resources to do a clean with. But yeah, in the future. So we've upgraded the trade. I've got 3 things though. You could use that stone to trade and then like use a different resource to get a deer. Sheep and a deer is 6, that's your value. You could cook them now, and then you'd have bones and things to be tending land and getting more stuff. This sounds like an idea. Right. Oh yeah, wood's an option. I just don't have wood so far, have I? We will clean, but we're going to make things dirty first. What were you going to do? I was gonna trade 3 stone. It's the same resource. It's got to be that many of a resource. And I can spend a resource now. What would you like it to be? See, wool we can maybe build it. Although if we're going to be doing the green in the future, if we draft it, definitely want to spend something. It's going to be wood. We can get wood more easily, can't we? Especially if we're going to do tend land in a bit. Yeah. And hopefully we can get some more food in a minute. Right. So spending that lets me get the deer. I am going to cook. So my hearth value is 4, 5, 6. 3 and 3 is fine. So that's going to get me 2 food, 2 hides, 3 bones and a wool. Just enough space. Okay, so now I want to tend land, but that is going to... Gathering all those resources is going to slide things over a lot, isn't it? We do need this food. And you can trade again. You've got 4 hides now. Get them gone. Or you might want them for cleaning. And you get a sheep back. It's tending land. I would probably be gathering because I'm full. I can't clean anything because the inventory's full, and I would be getting like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things, or I could be I don't necessarily get 5 things. So I could turn, when I do tend the land in a minute, I'll be able to turn that wood into a deer. Okay. So then I want to use things up. I'm going to trade again. 1, 2, 3, 4 things. And a wool as my extra thing. So I can get a sheep. Yes. There's my 3 workers. Done. Final turn of the round. And we need... I've got 4, 6. At the moment, we need 2 more food, which the sheep and the deer would provide. Or maybe we can get even more. Right, options. Get 2 barley and then produce wood, which still would be 1. Or another roof. That is another person to feed, though. Oh dear, if I turned any green down at the start, I really regret it now. I did get that hand that was all green. I'm drying. Right. And it is a 2-point roof. I mean, you're more likely to have some food. Rolling over into next round. Or 2 barley and a wool. Because you don't have to cook both of the animals. In terms of like keeping the resources down. Tending land is going to give you a ton of resources. If you don't have to, you could be cleaning up midden with some of it. Time subscriptions. I always lean towards person more, but... And we could get the food, couldn't we? I'm going to go for... Dun dun dun. The person over the roof. I was really hoping for a green so I could just get a ton of stuff and activate some of these. Maybe we'll get shells. So I'm going to get 2 barley and 1 wood. Okay, now, is there stuff we can spend before you do the great big tend land action? Not really. You could clean. Just go and do the clean action with a barley and a wood. But you'd be shifting this up when you can't really. Tend land, and then we can reverse it later. We can reverse the damage I'm about to do. So spend a wood to get a deer. And maybe that's our cooking. Oh, spend your 2 bones to do this in the first place. Oh, first, what about upgrading one of these gathers? So that they're better. What can we turn barley into when this is upgraded? 2 into a cow. And it costs what to upgrade? I don't know how clever this is, but I'm tempted to go get a shell, upgrade this gather, and get another cow. That's only like a couple of extra food, though. I don't think you need to do that. I think that's a big roundabout way of doing things. Have you got stuff to upgrade? You've got the stuff to upgrade this gather, and then you could get 2. You get both of the things or a fish. And you've still got a worker left to think about it. Go on then. Is that okay? Yeah. But before I did this, cheeky take back, I upgraded this gather. So back to the present. Tendland, I've done 1 there. We'll do another one here. Fish would give you a bones when it's cooked, but it's more to cook. But you could do a cook action. No, then you'd have a load of resources to worry about. A fish is less storage space, but I suppose a shell count towards doing this, and maybe a furnish action in the future. And the seaweed could be... Oh yeah, we do need fish for the task card. Could do a craft action with 2 fish. Right, fish. That's 2 things. And we could clean 1 and then gain a thing. But then cooking all the stuff's probably going to push it right back out. So I don't have the stuff to upgrade just yet. We need 4 different things to go and upgrade. You've already done that option. And you can use food to clean. But you're going to need the food. Have I sorted out the food problem? 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, 1, 2, cook these, 3, 4. No, you haven't. So are we going to cook? It's not the final... Oh, this is the final turn of the 3rd round. You need to feed. Okay. You're not doing any of your bonus things there. You keep spending it all. We will gather. And you're going to cook twice. It sounds like it, doesn't it? Yeah. We'll get a barley. And then we can move it in. We don't have to cook the fish. So you can just go for a cook action that's kind of inefficient. And just do 3's worth straight into food. But when the auto cook happens, this is just going to push the inventory anyway, isn't it? So instead of cleaning, why not just gather the other thing and get a wool? Yeah, and then with the cook action, I'll definitely cook these 3 into food. The fish is an action. Just get 1 more fish in them in. That's an action. But right now, I could be getting another food and another bones. No, hang on to it. End of round stuff. Cook for free. I'll cook these 2. So I get 2 food, 2 hides. Three bones and a wool. And I've got the 3 wool. Feeding your people. 5 I need, don't I? It's got some for resources or maybe for the payment in the 4th round. Well, they kind of want to use it so you can clean up. Then what? It's the end around stuff. You've fed, then midden. 3 minus 2. So we only get 1 midden. Final round already. And I haven't done anything. We've got stuff done. Look at the community we've built. Look at the tiles we've upgraded, perhaps unnecessarily. We've got a pile of 4 and 3 and 2. We've got 4 workers now. And I am just hoping for 2 out of these 3 piles to contain a green card option. Oh, well, all of the green cards. Does that make it less likely they're going to be in other hands? Okay, so I feel like I should take one of these. Do you have to take the end of round cook action? It's probably optional, but I want to do it to get all the bones and stuff. I know it's made me have a midden, but I did want to do it. Oh, 3 bones. Oh, was I not? Would that have been full then? That should have slid an extra 1 then, shouldn't it? I haven't calculated it properly. So it would have been 1 further along, 1 more bones, and 1 more midden. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. You have to take the stuff, though, if you're taking it. So it's the cook's optional. So I didn't have to do that. But I want to have the bones and things. Right. We're getting even more resources now, because I want a green. Sorry, blue. But, ooh, so you could activate the yellow as well and get 2 barley on top of everything else. Or we could be getting a sheep for some of the stone. It's more cooking and things for later. Barley, better in a way, but it's taking up space. Ready for this. So 5 things. I want... So I've got the wool for this now. I want 5 stone. So that's basically going to turn into 3 stone and 1 sheep. Let's turn 2 of them into this sheep. It's a lot of resources you've got there. But we can get them used on gathering more things. But that can clear midden as well. Right. Trading needs 4 of something, though. So you need to get this stuff done to get clearing. Although two cleaning would be right there. You've got to hide. I mean, you've got one of the two fish as well. If you do a trade action, you can get yourself a rabbit. But if we get more resources now, that means more cleaning is going to be necessary. But we can do it. It's going to be okay. So do we want to just gather the stone, or do we want to pick it all up with tend land? I mean, that will use stuff as well. We'll gain more stuff, but it'll be okay. 2 bones. I need 4 of something, don't I? And we will get... Fish is one thing. Stone is 2 things. You could just clear midden. Clear midden. Get wood as the 4th thing. Okay. Then trade for stone and a wood as extra. Get rid of the trade, so that's 8 points at the end, and I get a rabbit now. So I've got a fish. You've got 2 fish though. You've done the gather action. Why do you want the rabbit? It'd be good for later. Okay, I'll trust you on that. I think you made a mistake, haven't you? But you could have picked up 2 other things instead of that if you wanted, but I don't think it makes a difference. So we've still got the stuff. We could tend land again later. So these will let us do a craft action and more importantly stop us losing 2 points. And you gain 2 points for the thing that you've crafted as well. So what would I craft? You crafted a lot of things. You can't afford anything. Maybe instead of getting the fish, this would move it another one along though. Instead of getting the fish, you should have got a shell and a seaweed. When I had the stone, it would have rolled it over though into -3 points territory. And then you can spend these to do the craft. It's your bonus action here. You can spend a bones, shell or seaweed. I feel like this doesn't need boosting as much. If I do draft a yellow, although this would let me get the wood and wool for going there. Stone and wool rather than wood and wool. No, I'm going to do this. So this will be a bones and a shell. Upgrade this gather. So that's like a 4-point swing. No -2, and I've got a +2 instead. We can still do a clean, but do I want to wait on that for a future turn when we can maybe do a bigger clean by having some more stuff? I think I maybe do. But you've got these other workers now. You can still tend land if you're willing to spend the food. And that would build stuff up. It would give you stuff to do a better clean action. But maybe it's better to leave it big until we can do a big clean action later. Let's tend land again. Spend this food. I don't want to spend food. One thing. Turn this into a deer. 2. Get 2 barley. Next time we'll turn that into a cow. 3. You could even send someone to turn it into a cow. Get a shell and a seaweed. 3 shells potentially we could do. 4. Could at least move the slider once, couldn't you? That's still giving you a load of space. I'll clean up that midden, because that's minus a point anyway. Might as well leave the space rather than bringing it back and it going out again. And then... What are you? You're 6, aren't you? We could cook, because the gather will kind of happen if we tend land again, but you're only... And we can tend land again if we cook now. Cook now, then. So it's these guys again. So it's 2 food, 2 hides, 3 bones and a wool. We might even push it out again, depending on what we draft. And that's that. Turn 2. It's all in what's in that last pile. Is there a green? Okay, so we could get 2 fish and 2 barley. 2 wood and a rabbit. Stone balls, bit late. It is 2 points. No, we're not going stone balls. I suppose, points for a set, if we're going to do a furnish, or at least try to do a furnish, maybe it would be better to have the 2 wood and rabbit, and then when you tend land, you can turn the wood straight into a deer. For food purposes. Okay, you convinced me. So 2 wood and 1 rabbit. Just in the animals section. Okay. So we want to get some stuff spent. And again, you full up. Activating the clean action. Got rid of all of the midden. We shouldn't... Oh, we haven't done it yet. Like, the clean action will use some resources in activating it. We're not necessarily getting lots more resources. I'm turning things into other things. With tend land. So we need 5 different things to trade again. You only need 1 thing to furnish. It's just got to be something more specific than trade can be anything except midden. Let's furnish with a hide. Let's tend land for 2 bones. And we're going to turn 2 barley into a cow. A wood into a deer. Shell and a seaweed. And you either get a stone or a wool, or you clean, which you don't want to do. Stone, maybe you'll clean twice, but you're probably not gonna. If you draft a green now, you're gonna have so much stuff. Wool. You could trade the wool or furnish. I know we want it for this. You're kind of bunging yourself up with resources. Seaweed can be used to clean though. So you could do seaweed, hide, wood. So that'd be 3 things gone, and the 3 wool to activate it. And how much? That would be 4 cleans, but you'd only be able to move the slider twice. You'd get a roof card. Oh dear. Do we just activate this again with bones and food and clean up that way? We haven't put this back on yet. Moved it off from my calculations. You can furnish again with the hides. And you've still got 1 for cleaning later. Because it's 1 point for all of these cards and then 4 points for the set. Doubt we're not going to get in the set. You're only drafting 1 more card out of a choice of 2. You haven't spent the hides. But you could spend actually a hide and 2 wool, and then you've still got the 3 to do the clean. And then what? I don't want to just activate clean. Could cook, but then that's filling everything up again with more stuff. You have bones and stuff for tending land next time. Yeah. And then we can start to get a handle on this. So this is 6. So the bunny is just food and hide. This isn't going to make me go over, is it? Yes. Be fine. 2 food. I feel like you're going over way too much. Be reckless with the storage for a change. I'm always overly cautious with this. Try not to let it go. As soon as it's half, I'm like scrambling to move it back. Will you get him spent? I hope I will. Right. So I feel like you've got yourself stuck and you're just going to keep filling up that storage area. Nonsense. Okay, is there a green card in these 2 cards? No, so we can't do the goal. Maybe I turned 1 down early on. There's not a lot I could have done about that. I think green was the option. No, I didn't turn down any green, apart from when they were all in a hand together. Oh well, I can't do much about that. So we could do utilities again, which would help with the midden situation, which are all minus points each. Or this would get me 4 barley and a rabbit. Probably don't need them. Get the utility then, because it is 2 points, and maybe we'll cook more stuff. Hey Derek, how's it going? Lovely to see you. So you've got all your multiverse stuff. I'm very jealous. I'm waiting for people to get it over here so I can try and buy it off them. But not yet. Fingers crossed. Right. So you've got all this stuff. You need a hide for taking that. So how many? I've got 5 hides. In terms of trade, that'll get rid of them. It would be nice to furnish at least once to make the set worth 6 points rather than 4. I will get another shell, and I'll use that to furnish. But you're so full up of stuff. Yeah, it's just not going to end well anyway. That's -5. I will activate that and clean, but I'm a bit too full up to clean right now. Do we get stuff? Do we make it even worse? Make it even worse. You got to make it worse to get better. 2 bones. I need to take shell and seaweed, even though they're taking up 2 precious spots of my inventory. Turn the wood into a deer. It's 2 things. Get 2 barley. So that could be used to clean as well. And then a stone, in case you want to upgrade anything. But I don't know if you will. Right, because we can be using the food to tend land as well. We could just turn the thing into a cow if we wanted as well. So that's 4 seaweed, 5, and I could trade them. Right, so now you've got 3 shells. 1, 2, 3 shells to do a furnish action, please. 2 hides. Yes. You're already 6. So upgrading the cook action by 2 isn't going to do much. Getting a cow isn't going to do much. They're not worth any points. So if we cleaned, that would be the cost of doing the clean. And then we can do hide, seaweed, barley to clean 4 things. Would you have the space then to move it back 4 times? Yes. Okay, then do it. Spend the 3 wool to activate the task card. We've got 3 different things here, which is moving this back 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and a roof card. So I need what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 6 food. I've got 5 already. I'm going to have way too much food. Can spend. You could have cleaned. I couldn't move it back 6 spaces though. Right. Then. Still got 3 workers. It's probably going to get pushed out and come back again. You can go and get seaweed so you can trade with it. But to get 5 seaweed, you're going to have to gather twice more and then trade, and that's it. Do I've ended up with all this seaweed? Furnish. Oh no. Is that any good? Because right now, well, I've got 9 people, did I count? Plus 6 for the set. It's 15. Oh yeah, 2 times 9 is 18 already, so that's better, yeah. Because the set bonus goes down to 2, but everything's worth 2. So yeah, it's still worth doing. That's going to be worth like 5 points. So furnish, we could craft with the seaweed to... just to upgrade one of the actions. And then... yeah. Yeah. And then we could clean... and get rid of 3 things. Seaweed, barley, food. So we could clean with 3 things, which is brings it back 4, but I just kind of want to overspend, which I think is okay. It's going to get pushed out again when I cook, but not by much, I don't think. Didn't get to do the last task, but I didn't do the focus, which is the bigger downside. Will I have made up for it? I thought do this because it also gets me a roof card, which is another point. I don't have to cook anything, do I? Because they're not worth... oh, food's worth points, actually. So it's worth cooking if it's not going to harm you. So I need 5 food, don't I? Okay, then that's it. End of round. Cook. We definitely need to cook 1. So that'll be food, hide, bone. I didn't need to spend the food for the... oh yeah, it would have still gone back 2, and then the food would have been worth a point. I was just trying to clear stuff out, but food's worth a point, isn't it? Because then you don't need to cook the second thing, and we've got the exact right number of things. Yeah, just don't cook the second deer, because it will... the point you will gain from the food will be negated from this. Or do cook the food, and it will be the same number of points. Will it? Yeah. Yeah, because it would take up the space the deer's in right now in another row. But we won't. We'll save it for future generations. And so that's that. The cooking. Then food, we've worked out 5 we need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And midden would be 3. I've got 3 utilities. So that's like maybe offset it a bit. I've got these points from these utilities. It's been offset in my recklessness with my storage room, although really it's come back to semi-sanity, hasn't it? Right, so points at the end. We get 2 points for every settler. I've got 9 of them, so 18. 2 for every set. I've got 1 set, so 20. 8 for my trade track, so that's 28. That's not going to be much, is it? 2 for every upgrade. So 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44. I did upgrade a lot there, didn't I? 46, 48, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, which would be pretty great if I didn't have -7 from this. So 47 in the end, right? Which is still a win, isn't it? Just about. 45 to win. So we can still consider that a win. You need 55 to do exceedingly well, and then you can... like, the challenge is trying to do it with all of the different special action tiles, which I'll show you in a sec now. Or you can add more focus or task cards if you're too good and you want to make it tougher. And here's a look at some different... like things like you want to get 7 or more roofs, 5 or more spaces up the furnace track, 6 or more up the trade track, 2 sets of settlers, 7 or more food at the end, have 8... ooh, 8 or more upgrades. I nearly did that. I did that. If that had been my focus, I could have done that. Oh, I didn't count my points. 48. 48. Oh, yeah, food. Food and midden. I got 1 food. 48. Thank you. Have 0 to 2 midden. We would have done that. But unfortunately, these weren't your focuses. You knew this. But, yeah, I couldn't have done anything about it. Just unlucky that I got multiples in the same hands twice for the things, but drafting like the extra utility or whatever might have saved me in the end for getting the 2 extra points, for giving me the hide, for stopping me taking all of the midden and stuff. So yeah, that's a look at the other focuses, and then so we should. I'll go through them again just in case, because I was explaining them when you didn't really know how the game worked at the start. So yeah, recruits. All of the special action tiles cost 2 food and or bones to activate. So recruit coming here gets you a black worker, so an extra worker to use even in like the first round if you can get the food and bones. So you can use that for up to 3 extra workers, but at the end of the round you put them all back. If you upgrade it, as well as all that, you can now put 2 small workers on action tiles instead of just 1, and a large worker, so 3 things could be on 1 tile if you wanted. Hunt boar gives you a way of getting boar. By coming to this action, you can get 1 of the special boar. And here's the cooking conversion for boar. And if you flip it over, you also get a knife for hunting boar, and the conversion is better. It's worth an extra hide. Innovate. You do the craft action for free. It costs you these resources to come here, but you don't pay the upgrade cost. If you upgrade it, not only don't you pay the upgrade cost, you can pay a food to activate the thing you just upgraded. Pretty fantastic. Explore lets you draw 2 settlers and keep 1, but you don't activate anything on it. It's just like, oh, that would have been good, wouldn't it? It wasn't one of my 3 options. But yeah, draw 2 and it can increase your stacks, or you could be taking utilities and stone balls and stuff. Spin wool gives you access to the wool spindle cards. So you come here and you get a card, and then the cards are worth a point each, and you get a wool for every spindle card that you've got. And if you upgrade it, you get 1 as usual, but you can spend 3 wool to get a roof. Build, you can do either the furnish or the trade action at a discount of 2, so 2 less than whatever the current rate is. If you upgrade it, it's a discount of 3. And muster is, I remember this, it's up your hearth level by 1, draw an extra person. No, it's activate 1 of your rows now, not get any more people. Activate a row. You can either activate the top, so doing muster at the end for me, because it got me a ton from green, or you can do the bottom of any one that you can see. And if you upgrade it, you pick a stack and you do both. So as if you had just placed the last card on the stack. I remembered. So yeah, loads of different things from that. Loads of different goals. There's loads more tasks as well that like different costs, and they activate you different actions on your board as well. So loads of different stuff to happen, and tons of like you see more obviously if you're playing. You see a bit more cards, but yeah, there's like I think we've seen like a good variety of what the settle cards are like. Like there's just a nice mix of all the different ones. We've seen all of the special cards. It's the stone balls, the roofs, and the utilities. But yeah, activating the row it's in and a different one for 1 specific resource instead of a choice. Getting the resource that you're getting and converting it into something that one of the other columns makes instead. Give you loads of tough decisions. Like even in the solo game, like you're not thinking about like what's going to be passed to other players and stuff, sure, but it's still like a pretty agonizing decision what to go for to try and make your little engine work. Right, so that is Skara Brae, everybody. This is on Kickstarter right now. The link is in the description to the video if you'd like to go there and check it out. These are prototypes, but as always with like Garfield things, I think it's pretty like there may be like little tweaks, but it's pretty much like what you're gonna get. You can see on the Kickstarter page how to get hold of it and stuff, because this is on Kickstarter with The Anarchy, which is the sequel, successor to Hadrian's Wall. I have done a playthrough for that as well last week, so if you haven't seen that yet, check that out, because there's gonna be more of that coming. There's a solo campaign in that box, but yeah, it's some great flip and fill combo-filled action. And yeah, thanks everyone for being here. Hope you enjoyed some Skara Brae. I'm glad that it went well in the end. I thought I was tying myself in knots, but you see, there's ways around it. There's uses for these things. It's all planned out. It wasn't just accidents and panic. But thank you very much for watching. I will be live again on Thursday night at the same time at 8 p.m. BST, and we'll be talking Essen games. Let's have a look at some things that I'm excited for, because I'm going this time. I'll be there soon. That'd be weird, wouldn't it? But there's more to do here for now. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye, 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 bye.